we're going to talk about a very, very important topic: purchasing new construction home. What do you need to be aware of? There are a lot of things that you need to be aware of as a buyer. I've encountered a lot of people that they wish they knew some things before they purchased a new construction home. They wish they knew the options. They had the options before they decided to purchase a new construction. So you as the buyer, what happens? You're walking through a model house park. There are several model houses, and you fall in love with one, and you know which one you really want to purchase. Maybe you've been able to tour some inventory homes. So keep in mind, when you walk through that model house, the salesperson represents the builder. They do not represent you as the buyer. So when you walk in through that door, they always ask you, do you have a real estate agent that you're working with? If you don't have it, they put it on the contract. You don't have a real estate agent, that means you don't have a representation. It is very, very important for you to have a representation. Do not just assume that that salesperson is there for your best interest. They are not there for your best interest. So it's always very, very good for you as a buyer to have a representation. What that means is, as your real estate agent, we are able to give you a full representation. We are able to negotiate for you. We are able to get access to data and see other homes similar to the house that you're purchasing, what they're selling for. So if you walk through that door and you don't have a real estate agent, they tell you this house is for $500,000. Maybe a day before they sold the same house for $450,000 or even $430,000. So without you having that representation or somebody who can do research for you and to make sure that you're getting the best deal, you won't be able to get a best deal. So we do a full representation for our clients. We do a lot of research and figure out what deal can we walk away with here from the builder. Sometimes it does not have to be done on the same day. Sometimes you tell a builder, I need to go sleep through this. That builder might think that you will go to the next competition. Maybe if you are at Perry Homes, there are other builders like the Highland Homes, there is Westin Homes. So maybe that builder will think that you will go to the next competition and be able to get a better deal or be able to contract on a house. So there are some different tactics that we use all the time. As a very good salesperson, we use different tactics. We take some time, to negotiate, make sure we get the best deal for our clients. When you walk through that model house, they will give you a price. Sometimes they have incentives that they are allowed. They have a gap that they are allowed, maybe 10,000 discount or even 20,000 or 30,000. But like I said, if you don't have a representation, you don't know, you don't have history of data, you don't have history of homes being sold in that community for you to know how much the price they're selling for, what the builder is able to pay for, is the builder able to pay for your closing costs, and to what extent can they do it? What is really the best deal for you? So as your realtor, we are there for you. We negotiate for you. We make sure that you get the best deal of them all. We also always encourage our clients to be able to do home inspections, because even if the house is a new construction, remember it was built by a human being. Sometimes they miss things. Sometimes they install things that are like undersized. Sometimes they forget to do some things. Once you do your inspection through a third-party person, they are able to give us an inspection report, and we're able to go through it and see which items needs to be addressed by the builder. Remember, this house is a brand new house, so most of the time the builder is able to address everything that's on your inspection report. So when you move into your house, at least you're guaranteed that for some time you won't have issues, because if you did not do your new construction inspection, you won't know what is wrong with the house. Some people choose to do inspection just a few months before 1 year is up, because you do have the workmanship warranty for 1 year for most builders. So some people choose that route. Therefore, you do inspection at that time and you give the inspection report to the builder. They're able to address most of the concerns that we always see on the inspection report. So have your representation so we can negotiate a deal for you. Let's do that home inspection so we know the issues and see what the builder can be able to address. So when we walk you through the transaction for new construction, we usually visit sites once in a while to see the progress of the house if the house is not complete. The lender always will order an appraisal, because at the end of the day, the financing amount that the banks are lending to you should be able to match with the purchase price that you're purchasing. So always they do appraisal. It's not a good idea to waive appraisals. Sometimes people have options to waive appraisal, but it's definitely a very good idea to always have appraisals done, so we can know that exactly the house you're purchasing meets the value. So once all that is done, of course, we help you to figure out other things, managing the entire transaction until you come to closing table. Whether it's getting updates from the lender, whether it's getting updates from about your appraisal, updates from the builder if everything is in on time. We also always make sure that when you go to closing table, and this is another important thing that people sometimes, if you're not aware, you get in big trouble. So normally when we go to closing, the builder, not the builder, but the lender will get tax bill from the county. It always depends if by the time the appraisal district went out to do their appraisal, the house was complete, semi-complete, or not even started. So sometimes they give them a tax bill for dirt. That means the house was not built or it was not complete at that time, so they couldn't give the lender a tax bill for a house that is not completed. What happens is when you're closing on your house, you get a less tax bill. So maybe you're paying your taxes $250, $300, but in the real sense, your taxes that you're paying on your property should be around $1,000. And this is just an example. So what happens is we go through those your closing documents and see what is the taxes that they are collecting from you. If at least it matches or it's something close, close to what you should be paying, then you're good. But sometimes, and I say sometimes because there are lenders who are very good, even with the new construction, and there are lenders who are not very good. So sometimes a lender's goal is just to get a deal closed, to get that house sold for the builder. So sometimes some lenders do qualify people and they charge taxes for just the lot. Maybe if they charge you taxes with the house, you wouldn't qualify. So sometimes they just slip it in there. They're like, oh no, your taxes is $200, $250 a month, when in the real sense, your taxes should be $1,000. So when they usually do the escrow balance the following year, it catches up with you. So you will hear people saying that when I first purchased my house, I was only paying $3,000. Shock to me, after 1 year, now I'm paying $4,000. I don't know what happened to my bill. So normally what usually happens is that sometimes the lender legitimately has a tax bill that's less because there was no house. Some of them, they slip it in there. So if you don't know, and sometimes you don't know if your lender is a good lender or if it's a shoddy lender. So it's always good to compare that tax bill, compare everything that you have on your closing disclosure to find out if they're charging you approximate amount of taxes. So when comes the following year, you will not be less in your escrow. So if you've heard your friends complain that my monthly payment went up by $1,000, most likely it's because of the taxes. They didn't collect enough amount of taxes. So in a community, there are different tax rates. What I normally do, and other good realtors around that we work together do, is we can give you a rough estimate of how much your taxes should legitimately be. So if a tax rate community is 3%, and you purchase a house at $300,000, so you do 3% of the $300,000, and that gives you how much your annual taxes should be. You divide that by 12, and you can estimate how much your monthly taxes should be. So what happens is you do that rough estimate, and it's always good to put that extra money towards those taxes. So basically you overpay your escrow, but that's for you to be able to be on a safe side. When the following year comes and they do the escrow balance and you are negative, you shouldn't be far off when we have calculated the estimated amount of taxes for you. So therefore, that's a good thing to do. All right, so as I summarize everything about purchasing a new construction house, you need to be aware that there are other realtors. You can meet other realtors that tells you, I will give you 2% commission. I just need 1%. So you think they give you a discount. So they tell you, I'll give you 2% commission towards your closing cost or price for your house. I just need 1%. All they do is they put a name on your contract and they disappear. They wait until the closing date for them to collect their commission. Some of these realtors, they choose to do it, I don't know why, but some of these realtors, there are some people who are lazy. There are some people who does other jobs and they just do real estate as a side hustle. So I've been really shocked in the recent past because I've met people who tells me, I want you to help me purchase a new construction house, but I want you to give me 2% commission of your money. Sometimes people does it, but I'm not a discount agent because I do my due diligence. I fully represent you. So what clients need to be aware is these people, these agents, they are there, unfortunately. They just put their name on the contract. They disappear until closing date for them to collect their check. If you choose it that way, well and good. But guess what? You're really doing this service to yourself. Why do I say that? Because this is a lazy agent who is just collecting money that they didn't even work for. But they are misrepresenting you. Because as a full-time agent, I want what's best for my client. I do my job 100%. I represent you 100 plus 1%. When I do my analysis and do my due diligence to make sure that you're really getting a good deal, I do it with all my heart and with my 100% representation for you. When you tell this agent that it's okay, you can have the 2%, you can have the 1% and I take the 2%, they just sign on the contract and they disappear. So you're not even able to know what the houses in the community are selling for. You're not even able to know what deals, how better of a deal you are getting from the sellers, from the builders. You don't have all that information because that agent is not there to represent you. They are there to be lazy and just to collect money that they didn't work hard for, and they disappear. So you're doing this service to yourself. For example, I had a client that wanted to purchase a house at $500,000. So the same thing happened to me. She told me that I met a co-worker that we worked together, and the co-worker told her there's a realtor that will give you 2% towards closing or 2% towards the price of the house. Then they just take the 1%. So she asked me the same thing. Are you able to give me 2%? And I told her no, because that's not what I do. I'm a full-time real estate agent. I do this for a living. And it's not even just about the commission discount that you're getting. It is the representation that you're getting. So this client was purchasing a house at $500,000, but I knew everything that was going on in the market. I knew what the builders were doing. I knew what discount the builders were giving. So this house was listed at $500,000. We were able to get it at $435,000. If this client was working with a discount agent that's giving you 2%, they will be able to purchase that house $500,000. Because guess what? The salespeople for the builder, they're not there to represent you. They're not there to give you the best deals. They're there to make as much money for the builder as much as they can. So you're doing the service to yourself by selecting to work with people who are there to be lazy and to just collect whatever they didn't work hard for. But just remember that you're doing the service for yourself. Look for those people. Interview agents that are full-time real estate agents. Interview agents who have good experience, who have good reviews. Because purchasing a house is not purchasing a pair of shoes. You're purchasing something and it's a long-term commitment. If I'm able to save you $60,000, $70,000 by just knowing the market, knowing what's going on, knowing the discount they're giving, knowing what we can get away with, that's why I'm there for you. That's my job. And it's always my joy and happiness when my clients get the best deal, because at the end of the day, I treat you as family and you deserve to get the best deal. You deserve to get the lowest price possible, best interest rate that is available out there, somebody to pay for your closing costs and everything, all kind of discounts you can get. So stop doing a disservice to yourself by using discount agents. At the end of it all, remember, when you walk through a new construction home, they will tell you you don't need a real estate agent. Yes, hear that from Elsa today, that you need a real estate agent to represent you, especially you don't have experience, you've never bought a house, or even if you've bought a house before, you won't know what you can get away with. You don't know the best discounts that the builder can give you. So just know that you need somebody to represent you, to be your advocate, and to be there for you. Finally, I'm going to finish up with an experience I had with one of my clients. Sometimes the builder tells you, for you to be able to utilize their incentives that they're giving, you have to use their lender. Sometimes just remember that the lender, whatever they are offering, might not be best for you. So until you look at the numbers on a piece of paper, until you compare what's your monthly pay using the builder's lender and using an outside lender. Sometimes remember that these builders' lenders, they don't have a relationship with you. So their goal is not for them to make sure that you get the best deal. For them, it's just to get a deal closed. But if you don't have anybody that you can compare the breakdown for the cost sheet, what's your monthly payment, what's interest rate they give you, then you really don't have anything to compare. So it's best for you to make sure that you do have a second opinion, a second pre-approval if it's by an outside lender, so you can compare if really builder's lender gives you the best deal. We had a situation with one of my clients that the builder was giving my buyer $10,000 towards closing, but they slide in other costs from the lender side. So at the end of the day, you think they give you $10,000, but they really don't give you $10,000, because they give you $10,000 and they charge you $10,000 in a different way. So in this scenario for my client, we ended up comparing with an outside lender, and she ended up choosing to work with an outside lender because her monthly pay was going to be $250 cheaper than using builder's lender. So keep in mind that always you have the option to compare. So do those pre-approval with the builder's lender. If you're going new construction, compare with somebody else, outside lender, mortgage broker, banks, credit unions, other options that you have, to make sure that for sure you're getting the best deal. At the end of the day, you as the client, you deserve to get the best deal possible, whether it's price, closing cost, interest rate, lender fees, everything in general. Save those dimes, because you work so hard for your money, and nobody deserves to get the best deal than you as the client. I hope my video was educative for you today. I am looking forward to seeing you on my next video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have a wonderful time.